Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. And that's the bottom line, cause Stone Cold said so. Yeah, so while my last video might be getting all kind of hate right now, because whenever you talk about police shootings or whatnot, you know, whatever side you fall on, people are going to talk shit. So I'm pretty sure I'm getting crucified in the comments. So this is more of a lighthearted video. This time I'm reviewing the A&E WWE Legends documentary on my boy, my favorite wrestler of all time. The reason I went bald, him and DMX. All right, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I could watch a 4-hour Justice League Snyderverse style documentary on my man Stone Cold. Well, not Snyderverse style, because Snyder would have made it look really brooding and depressing. But you know what I'm saying? I could watch a 4-hour documentary on my boy Stone Cold. I thoroughly enjoyed it and even learned some things about him that I didn't know. I mean, I've been a Stone Cold fan for a long time, and I've seen documentaries of him where it just went into his career as a wrestler, but it got a little personal this time, you know, with his personal life. I mean, not much. It didn't really go into his personal life, but just enough where you kind of know Steve Williams, the man, and, you know, you see the difference between Steve Williams, which is his government name, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. So I enjoyed seeing his rise, his reign, and eventually the gracefully bowing out of the wrestling business, which every legend does. You know, like Rocky Balboa says, you can't beat the clock. You know, time is undefeated. So he's one of the biggest reasons I started back watching wrestling again. So from WrestleMania 1 through, I say, WrestleMania 6, when Hogan fought Ultimate Warrior, after that I kind of fell out of wrestling. I was, you know, going on 11 years old. I'm getting older now, and I'm kind of growing out of it. And by this time, I know that wrestling is fake. Okay, I'm not saying, you know what I mean? Like, at the time, it's like, man, wrestling's fake, you know, but now I would never disrespect it and call it fake, okay? It's predetermined, it's choreographed, I understand it, but at the time, it's like, man, wrestling's fake, I don't want to watch that no more. So from 1991 through 95, I didn't watch any wrestling. I probably watched one match in those 5 years, and that's when Bam Bam Bigelow and LT wrestled at, I believe it was WrestleMania 11. That's it. And then, all of a sudden, I just happened to be flicking through the channels, and I come across USA and Monday Night Raw. And I see this big dude, this big motherfucker, Ahmed Johnson, Pearl River plunging somebody. And I'm like, who is that guy? You know, so technically, Ahmed Johnson is the reason I got back into watching wrestling again. So once I saw Ahmed, I said, okay, I want to see more of this. I want to see the new superstars of this new generation of wrestlers. So we have Shawn Michaels now, who I remember from back in the day. Bret Hart's still there. But then you have Ahmed Johnson, Yokozuna, you know, Owen Hart, you know, God bless the dead, and this guy called the Ringmaster. Now, my exposure to Stone Cold was as the Ringmaster, and he had a feud with Savio Vega. That was my introduction to Stone Cold. And then from the Ringmaster, I think WrestleMania 12, that's when he became Stone Cold, and he got the bald head, because before he had the buzz cut and clean shaven, but now he's got the bald head, he's got the goatee, and he's got the, you know, the Stone Cold persona, you know, Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. That was actually Jake the Snake and King of the Ring. So as Stone Cold started to gain momentum, I started to become more of a fan. And he was a heel, so we're supposed to hate this guy. Growing up, I always knew you hate the bad guys, you love the good guys. That's wrestling. This was different. This is a heel that not only did you love to hate, but you rooted for. So I'll never forget WrestleMania 13. Stone Cold and Bret the Hitman Hart. Coming into that match, I'm like, okay, I have to go for Bret Hart. He's the face. Stone Cold is the heel. But as the match was going, me, like every other fan, was like, something's happening here, because now I want Stone Cold to whoop Bret Hart's ass. And that's what was happening. And though Bret Hart won the match, Stone Cold won the hearts of millions of fans, and therefore the Attitude Era was on its way. Not quite there yet, but the Attitude Era is on its way. So when Bret Hart beat Stone Cold within an inch of his life, right? He's bleeding, he's out, the blood coming out, you know, he refuses to quit. He limped out, he didn't want no help out of there. He represented the everyday man, you know, the tough as nails, man that you know, either you were or you wanted to be, but he was a man's man, and you rooted for him. Because at the time, Bret Hart was always crying like a little bitch about how he got screwed and everything, which eventually he did for real. So the Attitude Era began once the Montreal screw job happened, where Bret Hart got screwed because he was going to WCW, and then Vince McMahon became known as Mr. McMahon. So Vince, who was once an announcer, is now the boss. He's like the evil boss of this empire, and Stone Cold is the working man that has to overthrow this empire. So that story set off the Attitude Era, and from that point on, I was glued in every Monday night, every Thursday for Thursday Night SmackDown, and every WrestleMania, every SummerSlam. All of a sudden, I'm a fan again. I had an Austin 316 shirt. I had 2 Austin 316 shirts. My brother had the Stone Cold toys. We were fans. I was a big fan. And like I said, because of him, and also I credit DMX, I got a baldy. Yes, I got a baldy in the goatee. Thanks to Stone Cold Steve Austin. All right. So all that is in this documentary, what I just said. So I'm living out my experiences as a wrestling fan, watching this documentary. And also it covers his greatest feud, which I think is the best feud in wrestling ever, and that is with The Rock. You know, The Rock and Stone Cold brought out the best of each other, and I was a Rock fan also. So going into the matches, I never said, well, I mean, okay, I was more of a Stone Cold fan, so inside I always wanted Stone Cold to beat him. But when Rock finally did beat Stone Cold in his last match, I didn't have a problem with it. I got emotional because I knew we were never going to see this again. And I knew it was the end of an era because they gave us some of the most kick-ass best matches, and even the promos, man. The promos to those matches, the build-up to those matches were legendary because those two, The Rock and Steve Austin, talked the most shit, talked the best shit out of everybody in the business, man. They were the 2 best. So to see them going at each other verbally and then seeing what they could do in the ring, we've never seen anything like that before and since. So he was so much of a superstar where after Austin left, I couldn't watch wrestling no more. After The Rock left, I couldn't watch wrestling no more. Even though Kane and Taker were still there, and I love those guys, you know. But Austin and The Rock is really what made WWE. Those two are what made the Attitude Era, okay? And it was just cool watching this again on this documentary. And listen, if you're a fan, even if you're a casual fan of wrestling, you know, I recommend this documentary. It also is a story of somebody that came from nothing. I mean, he said to pursue his dream as a wrestler, he was working for little to nothing every night. He was making maybe like $10, $20 a night, you know, and having to drive 50 miles to the arena where he had to wrestle at. And he was living off of a bag of potatoes and cans of tuna fish every week. And when the tuna fish ran out, he would eat a potato, he would peel a raw potato, and that's what he would eat. So to go after his dream, he starved, he clawed his way up to the top, nothing came easy to him, got fired from WCW, had a run in ECW, which I didn't know, which is like bottom of the barrel, you know what I'm saying? And to become the biggest superstar in wrestling history, in WWE history, that's the American dream, nigga. Well, ain't it? I'm probably going on too much about this documentary, y'all. I don't want to lose anybody, but yes, I recommend watching. It's on A&E. If you don't have cable, you can go to the website. That's how I watched it. I went to the website and just type in WWE Legends, and it'll come up. Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's an hour and 25 minutes. There are commercials in this, so I guess it adds up to like $1.30. And next week, I believe it's supposed to be Roddy Piper. I'm looking forward to that one also. But Austin was my guy, though, man. Austin was my dude, man. You know, and even though he was a redneck, you know what I'm saying, but he was just so badass, but you can't help but to love him, man. He was all about, listen, it's about me. I don't care what color you is, I'm whipping your ass. You know, went toe-to-toe with Tyson. You know, right now your beady little eyes are locked on the eyes of the world's toughest son of a bitch. You know, gave him the middle finger. Austin 316 says, I just whipped your ass. Come on, man. Give Stone Cold his flowers where you can still smell them. So anyways, A+ is what I got for this documentary. Y'all check it out. And I'm going to sign out for now. I'm going over 9 minutes. I know most of y'all done checked the fuck out by now. Sorry, y'all. If you like and dig this content, hit that like and subscribe notification bell in the corner. Comment freely below. This is Rashad G signing out. And see you in the next video. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.